The warm glow of the late afternoon sun bathed the quaint little cafe where Clara sat, a delicate porcelain cup of tea in her hands. Across from her sat Adrian, his smile both nervous and endearing as he fidgeted with a small velvet box in his pocket. Today was the day he'd planned for months, a moment etched into his dreams for years. Clara, unaware of the box's presence, spoke animatedly about her day, her laughter a melody Adrian could never tire of. Adrian's mind wandered back to the first time they met. It was a serendipitous encounter at a bookshop. Clara had been reaching for the same worn-out copy of Pride and Prejudice he had his eye on. Their hands brushed and their eyes met. That moment, Adrian would later tell her, was when his heart decided. Clara had laughed and said she'd only noticed the book, but her cheeks had flushed pink.
Adrian?
Claire's voice brought him back to the present.
You've been awfully quiet. Everything okay?
Her brown eyes were filled with concern, making Adrian's heart race even more. He cleared his throat, steeling his resolve. This was the woman he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. He couldn't let his nerves get the better of him.
Actually, Clara, there's something I've been meaning to ask you.
Adrian said, his voice steady but soft. He slid his hand into his pocket, fingers brushing against the smooth velvet of the box. Clara tilted her head, curiosity sparking in her gaze. The cafe around them seemed to fade, the chatter and clinking of dishes becoming a distant hum. Adrian knelt, ignoring the startled gasps and murmurs of the other patrons. His heart felt like it might burst as he opened the box, revealing a simple yet elegant diamond ring. Clara's hands flew to her mouth, her eyes wide with surprise and tears already forming.
Clara,
Adrian began, his voice trembling.
You are my world, my muse, and my best friend. Will you marry me?
For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then, Clara's face broke into the brightest smile Adrian had ever seen.
Yes.
She whispered, nodding fervently.
Yes, Adrian, 1,000 times yes.
Applause erupted around them as Adrian slid the ring onto her finger. The world seemed to bloom in color, and for both Adrian and Clara, it was as if they were the only two people in existence. The months that followed were a whirlwind of wedding preparations. Clara and Adrian's love story became the cornerstone of every decision, from the garden venue reminiscent of their bookshop meeting to the literary-themed decor. Clara spent evenings crafting handmade invitations, each adorned with pressed flowers and quotes from their favorite novels. Adrian pored over music playlists, ensuring every song told a piece of their story. Their families, though different in many ways, came together seamlessly. Clara's parents, who initially worried about Adrian's quiet demeanor, grew to adore his unwavering devotion to their daughter. Adrian's younger sister, a whirlwind of energy, became Clara's confidant and biggest cheerleader. The union of two souls seemed to bring harmony to everyone around them. As the wedding day approached, Clara found herself reflecting on the journey that had brought her to this moment. From the heartbreaks that taught her resilience to the quiet moments that built her love for Adrian, every experience seemed to converge into a tapestry of gratitude. Adrian, too, marveled at how life's unpredictability had led him to Clara, the woman who made him believe in fate. The ceremony was held on a golden autumn afternoon. The garden was alive with hues of orange, yellow, and crimson, a perfect mirror of the warmth between Adrian and Clara. As Clara walked down the aisle, her heart swelled seeing Adrian waiting for her. His eyes held a promise that words couldn't capture. When they exchanged vows, there wasn't a dry eye among the guests.
I promise to stand by you in every chapter of our story.
Clara vowed, her voice steady yet emotional. Adrian's hand tightened around hers as he replied,
And I promise to love you not only for who you were, but for who you inspire me to become.
As they sealed their vows with a kiss, the world seemed to celebrate their union. The sun dipped lower, casting a golden glow as the couple danced under the stars. Surrounded by family, friends, and a love that felt timeless, Clara and Adrian knew this was just the beginning of their happily ever after.